your own piece of Kids Beach, as well as your own piece of the land that is out there. But the beauty also of what we are experiencing as we get to learn and grow with MHG is that the more we see the development happening, the more we start to understand the vision. And once you understand the vision, there's not much more else you need to do except get yourself ready to go and do what you do best, and that is to get yourself ready to move into your property. But before you do all of that, there are formalities, and you need to qualify for certain things. You need to be ready to go for certain things, and you need to be ready you need to be ready to actually just be part of the system. In order to do that, you need to also then get the professional advice, which is one of the things that we are going to be doing today. Joined by members of the home loans, joined by a home loans consultant, Nikita Lee Brown from MHG, as well as Tasha van Niekerk, who's the bonds and transfers manager. Ladies, good morning and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
How are you guys doing? Apologies, we're running a little bit behind schedule. However, we are here, and I think it's important that we do it because at the end of the day, without the information that you ladies are going to be giving us, I don't think we'd possibly have the opportunity to grow the knowledge base that the people need to have. So I'll start with you, Nikita. You're the home loans consultant, and obviously you deal with now you're dealing with a bunch of excited people who have viewed and seen the entire development, who have been taken on the tour, who are sold, but now they have to sit down with you and talk the fact, and talk about the affordability. They have to talk about the kind of paperwork they need in place. They also have to come very clean with you about where they stand financially. They have to open up their books, and this is not now about the nice place you've just seen only. It's also about how close are you to being able to reach that. So how does one start the home loan journey, Nikita? And are the services free? What's the structure like?
Okay, so our services are free. A lot of clients don't realize that they are free. And when we start the home loan journey, we always start with a pre-qualification because that assists the client in knowing what their affordability is, what their credit scoring is, and it also assists them in knowing what price bracket to look in when looking for a property. So that just gives them that more stability and the knowing about what to do next after that pre-qualification. So that is always the most important first step when starting the home loan journey.
Okay. And how does the score then affect the application? And if you have bad credit profile, for instance, or something that is a stain on your credit that you may not have even been aware of, how do you work on it, and how do you advise people, and where is it, and how is it that you deal with these things with people?
When I get a client and their score is below 600, which is viewed as very high risk profile, I then work with them with their application and show them where they've made their mistakes with their credit profile, and then I go through with them in the future, step by step, on how to improve that credit profile. So the credit scoring is very important when it comes to the bank. So obviously arrears, the more times that you check your credit score, if you take out new accounts, that all brings down your scoring. So in order to maintain a healthy credit, you need to make sure that your accounts are always paid on time. You don't do more than 3 applications in the next 3 months. That's generally how we coach our clients going forward. And if they do have a problem, then I coach them going forward on how to fix the application and then also where to go. So I've got contacts with the credit bureau as well as the NCR and how to remove that, and then I assist the clients with that. I also, if the clients are looking for a place that they've got a problem with, if they've had the account for a couple of years and now they can't find that company again, but they want to close it so it doesn't affect their credit profile any longer, Then what I'll do is I'll look for a tracing agent, give them the tracing agent, and then that will assist them in having that removed.
I see. So, I mean, people get a bit spooked when it gets to the process, because I don't know. Let's say a first-time buyer, Nikita, might feel like your job is either to approve or shut them down. They don't realize that you are actually there to try to to
Yes.
help them meet the criteria, and that sometimes it takes a few meetings and a few months or a period of time to fix all of this before a client is actually able to get it right.
Yes.
Why is a mortgage originator better to use than going directly yourself?
It's better to use a mortgage originator because we are more like a HIPPO service. So instead of the client going direct to one bank, we go through to all five banks. So we use the four major banks, which is AXA, Standard, Nedbank, and FNB, and then we also utilize SA Home Loans. So then what we do is we fight for the best offer and the best rate for the client. So that is why it's better to go through originator because you're not just getting one deal, you're getting five different offers from five different financial institutions. And we do all the work for the client. The client doesn't have to do anything.
And I mean that comes with years of experience and know-how and bumps and
Yes,
bruises. So it's much better to go with the trusted professionals. Um,
definitely.
and I mean, what is the bond application process to the banks? What happens now? I've come to you at the sales office there in Kids Beach. Maybe I was with Bulelani or one of the other salespeople, and we've come back. We're all smiles, and I'm pretty convinced that this is where I want to stay. I sit down in your office. You and Tasha are there. I start with you, obviously. I sit down and I say, "Hey, Nikita, what do you need from me? What must I do? What is the process now? I really want that unit number, let's say 124, and that has my name written all over it. I want that unit." And you're like, "Well, let's see what we can do for you." Next step, what's going on?
Okay, so the next step would be after pre-qualification, I then get all the client's FICA documents with the application forms. I then submit it to the banks. The process can normally take between 7 to 10 working days, but it can be quicker if they don't request additional documents. Then once that's done, and then we go from there through to the finalization. It's a quick, easy process. Once we've got the documents, it's quick after that.
And then once my application has been finalized and I've accepted the best quote, and I'm feeling quite confident now, and I'm happy that it seems like my new home destination or address is going to be at Kids Beach. What happens next?
What happens next is once the client's decided which bank they're going with, they will then sign that application, that's sign final acceptance. I then accept it through the bank electronically, and then I'll go ahead and send all the documents through to the attorneys, and then the attorneys then contact the client with the information that they've received, and then what documents they would need next after that.
Is this where you send me to Tasha's desk now? So
Yes,
good morning, Tasha. How are you doing?
I'm good at you.
I'm great. Thank you so much.
That's good.
So apparently, I'm ready to own a home now, and it seems like the banks are happy with me. But now I've been sent to your desk. What is it that you need from me?
Okay, so basically, once we've received a bond approval, we will then formally instruct our transferring attorneys, which will be handling the transfer of the property. The bank have their own set of attorneys, which is on their panel, which they will then instruct the bond registration attorneys to proceed with the registration process. So it's your normal documents, your FICA documents that would be required for the transfer process and for the bond registration process. So you'll receive a lot of calls from two different attorneys. So yeah, then the process can start.
All right. And what are the costs involved when we get to this stage?
Okay, with our development, you won't pay any transfer costs. We,
Mm-hmm.
as the developer, will cover the transfer cost on your behalf. So that is something nice, especially for a first-time buyer, not to take that money into consideration to pay for transfer costs. And the only cost that they would be liable for is bond registration costs, but because we associated with our attorneys, we have basically arranged with them to give our clients a 20% discount on their
Okay.
bond registration cost, which is also nice. It gives you a bit of a saving as well. So the only cost from our side, if you buy within our development, is bond registration costs to the
Mm.
bond registration attorneys that you need to pay. The norm, if it's a normal transfer, if you would buy a normal house not within a development, you would be liable to pay transfer costs and bond registration costs. You would
And
also, yes.
yes, you are still saying?
I would say your clients do get confused with because there's so many things and it's overwhelming, so they don't normally know who they're going to deal with. So always in a registration process, if there's a bond involved, you will always deal with two attorneys. You'll get your transferring attorneys and your bond registration attorneys.
Okay.
Yes,
And Tasha, you say I'm dealing with two sets of attorneys, right?
yes.
And what is the difference between a transferring attorney and a bond registration attorney? Like, what are their differences and what are their roles individually in this process?
Sure. Your transferring attorneys are normally appointed by the seller, which they will then transfer the property from the seller to the purchaser's name. So they will deal with that function only. Then you get your bond registration attorneys, which is appointed by the bank to register the bond on the bank's behalf onto the client's name and onto that property. So that is your major attorneys and the role that will be with people, professional people involved in a transfer process.
Mm, mm, mm. And I mean, obviously I'm excited about moving in. I'm excited about putting notice where I'm staying because it seems like all of this is happening. But maybe I'm not sure how long does this take. What kind of timelines, what are the time implications we're talking about when it comes to this process?
The normal in a normal transfer process is anything from 8 to 10 weeks. For it depends on because there's so many different things involved in a registration process where you have to obtain rates clearance certificates from the different municipalities. You have to get your transfer duty receipts. So there's quite a lot of things that needs to happen. And it all depends on how quickly you can get these clearances from the different departments. But the norm is 6 to 8 can take up to 10 weeks. And within our development, it's slightly different
Mm-hmm.
because we've got a turnkey development, basically, which means is we've on a turnkey development, we have to build first. Once the unit is completed, our clients will come in and they will sign the letter of completions. Then only can the registration process start with the
I
property
see.
that they purchased. Yeah.
I
With
see.
a plot and plan, that is another registration process where we only have to obtain approved plans and the NHBRC enrollment certificate, which the attorneys would need to register the bond. So as soon as that bond has registered, we can basically commence with construction of the unit because it's not turnkey. So the two is totally different on completion and start dates. So yeah, it depends on which side of our development you want to invest with completion dates.
So when do I start paying my bond? in this process? When do I start paying my bond?
Okay, bond registration is only, once it's registered, it will only be due 30 days after registration. Will you start paying your first bond installment? Normally, what happens if your registration is before the 15th of the month and your payment date is the 30th, it will go off that current month if it's before
Okay.
the 15th. If it's
Okay.
after the 15th, it will only be payable the month thereafter, but it's normally 30 days after registration.
Nikita, what
Yes.
what are some of the common mistakes that people make when they come to your desk? What is it? Is it paperwork related? Is it not enough? Compliance documents. What is it that the common mistakes people make that maybe you want to highlight, that they make sure if they're coming to the sales office tomorrow that they have in hand that checklist so that they don't make the same mistakes?
Okay, so normally a lot of people don't always bring their documents with them when they're wanting to have a look at a property or even inquire. So it's much better if you have those on hand, which is your ID, your latest payslip, and your latest 3 months bank statements. Then, while you're sitting there, the agent and myself can already do the pre-qualification within 10 minutes, and then we can find the property in that time as well. So
Mm.
that saves a lot of time if the clients come up front with those documents. Another mistake that clients make is with their credit profile. A lot of clients don't understand that the more times you inquire to check your credit score, it brings your score down a lot. So
Really?
it's best only to do a credit check on yourself once a year, which is free.
Ah.
You do a free credit check once a year. Don't ever do it more than that because it will always bring your score down.
Because on the side of the credit bureau, that's assuming
Yes,
that you're trying to get credit for something
Yeah.
yes,
else. Ah, I see, I see, I see. So you become more of a risk or a liability in that
yes.
sense.
Yes.
And
Because
on
you
your
have criminal
on your
history.
yes, Tasha, on your side, when it comes to bonds and transfers, what is it that maybe not even frequently asked questions, the less asked questions that people should be asking, or things that people don't realize about bonds and transfers that maybe you can share as somebody who works with those things?
Okay. A lot of people are not involved in the bond registration costs. We do get a lot of clients that wants to purchase, but they're not sure about the cost that's involved. So yeah, I think if they can be just more aware or do research, or we have to coach them and teach them to basically investigate in what costs are involved. And some developers do pay for your bond registration costs, but not all of them. So there's always costs involved. They need to make sure that there's going to be levies payable after registration. There's going to be your rates and taxes if you purchase a property. So all things like that needs to be taken into consideration over and above your monthly installment that you're gonna pay for the property.
I see. And
Yeah.
what's the most satisfying part, ladies, about what you guys do? Because once somebody leaves that office of the two of you, they can consider themselves a member of the Kids Beach Green Estate community.
Sure, I had a client a while ago, and I worked with her for almost a year. She had a problem on her credit profile. I assisted her. We got a tracing agent to try and find this and track this company down so we could have it removed. And a year later, she got approved and she bought a house in the village. And it was the
Wow.
most satisfying phone call I've ever made in my life because she just screamed on the other side of the phone that her kids
Ah, wow.
and when she came in, we both had tears in our eyes because it was something that we had been working with each other for almost a year.
Wow.
So that also teaches other clients that yes, you may have a bad credit profile, but we can help you work towards getting a better one, and that your
Wow.
dreams can still come true.
This is brilliant. And so, besides all the official work and all the, all the paperwork and things like that, this is a story of helping people achieve their dreams and their goals, and to see something like that, that is amazing. We do know that as the development grows, it's a testament to the good work that you ladies are doing in that office. Keep it up, because people are not ignoring it. It's out there. And for more information, people can call 043726 0551. You can call MHG, your property development specialist, on 043726 0551, or visit www.kidsbeachgreenestate.co.za. Any parting shots, ladies, before we go our separate ways?
Thank you for having us, True. It's been very nice.
Thank
You
you.
guys, you guys are awesome. Thank you for the information. And hopefully after this, your office will have a big queue outside of it.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Take care, ladies. Thank you so much.
Okay.